everyone. So today is Tuesday. I have a pre-recorded video that's going to go out tomorrow. It's for a very specific person. I explain it at the beginning of the video, so there's that. What's the purpose of today's video? I have not made the time to sit down and really meditate and listen to exactly what messages are coming through to me, so I thought right now would be a decent opportunity to do so, and I might as well just film it for you guys so you can kind of come along with me in whatever I'm feeling, seeing, hearing. I'm messing with my soda light. This is from Namibia, and I'm being drawn to its population, which it's relatively large, right? I mean, it's not as small as Vermont, so you know, to me that's pretty big as a state, you know. Or is it a country? But it's like, when you compare it to the United States, like individual states, I mean, it's a decent size. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like 3 million, somewhere around there, population. A lot of our states are in the multi-millions, but still, anyway, not bad, not bad. They're bringing me towards that area though, like South Africa, Asia area, and they're saying, look at all the small little countries, like super small countries that we don't ever hear about, how it doesn't benefit the minority in power to have us have that publicized, like for us to be in uproar about it, right? The unfairness, the injustice, the kind of the limited few in those countries, right? The families that pretty much run those countries, and then have other people have no resources and are impoverished and enslaved, and they're bringing up the pain of the world caused by us. I'm hearing, look at what you've done. Like, are you okay with what you've done? Like, look at what has been done. And then they're connecting it to convenience. Like, it's inconvenient, inconceivable, but inconvenient if it were to be conceived, right? Like, people who, I'm likely not talking about you. I'm likely talking about the general public, who don't want to be inconvenienced in their life. And if you were to put it in their face, you know, as some feel-good contribution, then yeah, maybe they would likely donate to that cause. And then they're interrupting and they're showing Nigeria and the war on Christianity there, right? Kidnapping priests and whatnot. And they're using these as examples of this war on light workers, and something that's happened thousands now, that hasn't happened in thousands and thousands of years, that is made it easier to connect both ways, spiritually, like in other planes. And how they're comparing it to the interconnectedness, interwovenness of society now. So how the elite few control crops, they control grains, they control big box stores, they control commerce. And so if one were to go down, there would be a total disruption and failure because of that power system. It's not just it's not just the power grid going down. It's not just the, you know, rivers running dry. It's the family, it's the person in play, the powerhouse in play. So they're showing the elite few, and then they're showing the majority, and how, you know, if you go to a convenience store, it's literally your options are there because those are what they're providing for you, right? Or if you go to any of the few mom and pops that still exist, they're likely carrying, you know, imported material. It's not like we're living off of like how a lot of farmers markets and co-ops where it's grains and things that are dependent on locality. So they're saying the more that you integrate they're saying institutionalized wholeness. That's the words they're using, institutionalized wholeness. And so the more that you institutionalize, or the more that you invite in your method of contributing to the wholeness, right? It's a sincerity. It's not from greed, right? It's from trying to contribute. Then the less power is given to the few who are creating that fail safe, or like not fail safe, but it's like that emergency lock. What is it? You know, they're showing me like a plane and you just like pull down the latch, emergency latch, and jump out. So that's essentially what they're doing when the world gets too chaotic. Then they're looking to inhabit elsewhere so that then they can regenerate, repopulate there, and then come back when it's a little bit more stable and in control, because they're creating the problem. So they're trying to get out of here because they're kind of pilgrimaging the land, the area, the resources, the air, and it can very quickly recover. But then they're showing me the Bible, and they're showing me in terms of what's destiny. So it's unavoidable. And they're showing me birthing pains, and how I did videos like 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, whenever there were a lot of floods, volcanoes, earthquakes, tornadoes now, it's coming back again. We're gonna be feeling it again. There's a big disruption coming again, and it feels like whoosh, like a current, like a wave. I mean, like whoosh, a wave, and it happening again. And that's happening on the earth level, the physical level. And so that's kind of just like this, it's almost like this kind of explosion, like a static energy. That's what it feels like, of the world reacting. The world, it's like earth reacts to what it's like, the physical reaction from everything occurring spiritually that occurs physically, and then it somehow is just kind of, it's like manifesting because as a physical reaction, as I don't know, it's like it's working kind of parallel to what's happening spiritually, but it's like independently, if that makes sense. And so spiritually, it feels like there's this like major battle that seems to be overtaking many light workers. Like they're being consumed by the dark. They're being misled, misguided, turned over to the dark. A lot of this can also be, it's intercepting them early. So it's people who are destined for the choice of light working, whether it's in some sort of, you know, outright psychic work or whatever kind of thing, or if it's in a more practical setting, they're being intercepted early, and they're showing a lot of people who are turning to works of divination, right? Which is in comparison a lot to the next video, tomorrow's video, which I feel like the person that I'm addressing in tomorrow's video, they are actually have an option to become, as I said in that video, monk-like, or a monk. And this is their path of opportunity in some way, right? Like, and you can kind of see that also when you compare it. I have a list of channel songs. It can also kind of be in comparison to maybe even an artist, like a musician, right, who is dedicated to bringing in source energy, God energy, God's messages through vocalization and through like music chords, right? It can be things like that where you're constantly speaking the word of God through that as well, right? And seeing the vibrational difference between something that is in essence like a false prophet, in the sense that is driven by ego. It's not driven by the connection to God, right? And they're comparing that to the person that they're kind of surrounded with, where you can compare people who are doing divination for ego, for self, for reputation, for money, for, you know, popularity, for a connection with something beyond, with the esoteric, with the mystery, which is our driven desire and need as a spiritual being. But they deny God, or they are corrupted in who they truly are and understanding who they are, because of their egotistical desires that are driving them to do something that is of spirit, right? It doesn't connect, it doesn't coincide at all. And so yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into the technicalities of that. I'm speaking specifically for what I'm receiving this information for. So hopefully I don't have to get into like all the details of that, because that'll just derail me. But they're highlighting that, and there's a lot of grief and sadness in that, because then that is a way to intercept light working people, because these people who are ego driven or who are lost, right, they're seeking something because they're broken, right? They're broken, they're lost. And so of course the devil is going to be there waiting. It's going to be there waiting for them, to comfort them, to give them, you know, immediate gratification, to give them comfort, to befriend them. That's opposite of the patience. That's opposite of, you know, kind of long-term kind of, I don't know, what's the word? It's in the Bible, but it's like suffering, like long suffering. You know, it's opposite of that. It's opposite of like learning of yourself, right? And how can you have these identifiers? Are these people also involved in drugs? Are they involved in lower vibrational type of habits? Like, where are they dedicating and spending most of their time and energy towards, right? Where are they allowing themselves to become compromised? And in this, what's also happening is a lot of the more evolved and truest high vibrational light workers are becoming more refined. They're becoming intensified. Like I was saying in the video of self-care as you ascend, for those that actually resonate with that, you can feel yourself, it feels crystalline, right? When I've talked about banishing demons, I feel in essence crystallized, and I'm seeing that crystallization within your spirit. You become very solid, impenetrable. You become a walking embodiment of that unconscionable love, right? It's like love that has no right nor wrong in that, but also it has boundaries. It doesn't have the befriending of the demons. It doesn't have that misguidance to do so. And there's something happening majorly, something majorly happening, where it feels the light working is being diminished. Maybe temporarily, right? Like maybe temporarily, but they're bringing me to the Bible. They're bringing me to the end of times, and how they're saying that's unavoidable. So they're just saying, with the power of intention, stay your chosen path. Stay your chosen and destined path. With the power of intention. With the power of God, right? Because you're speaking on God's behalf. You're not speaking on your behalf. You're not speaking on other place, anything else's. It's under the direct authority and guidance of God. So what can demonic attacks look like for a light worker, right? What can that look like when you are sworn to God and only God, and you continue forth with that? Well, in order for things to occur as an attack against you, they have to come through either by invitation, right? It has to be invited in. And that's why, you know, for example, I think in some instances when I give attention to it, and I've done things on here where I will kind of like look but not really look, that is in some ways inviting it in, because I'm giving it attention. And that's when some supernatural things can occur, because that energy is coming closer, right? And so there are ways, in essence, where you can invite it in that way, and you can give it attention in that way, depending on your abilities, right? And then they come through, mostly, majority, through other people, right, who are invited in, whether they become the vessel because they are more susceptible, they're lower vibration, whether they're welcoming it in themselves. So as people who are naturally low vibration, in essence, they are angry, jealous, hateful, just negative. They're doing drugs, they're drinking, they're doing some sort of medication that allows that to open up. I'm not saying like mental medication that you need. I'm saying the abuse of some things, substance abuse, right? And yeah, maybe some other things can invite it in some ways, but I'm not really being drawn to that right now, so I don't know. Maybe that's just, again, kind of something that would derail me if I keep going on about that. And so they will not come through in animals. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And I don't believe that because I don't ever see that. I've never seen that. If anything, animals serve as a warning, as a sign of protection, as a sign of honor, because they're pure light, and they work directly in connection with light. So no energy can use that for negativity. And I know, like, real life things happen with people and all that, but I'm not, again, just another derailing. And so it would be people acting out against you, right? Or people who are turning towards the dark. You know, causing distractions in your life, causing frustrations in your life, harming you, directly harming you, things like that. And I actually have a friend recently who she had this experience, and she was telling me about it in detail, and how it was this energy that was like trying to force her to sign a contract, and she was refusing to sign this contract, and it had a date on it, a specific date. And when she was recalling it towards me, she realized that specific date was a very dark time in her life. And so she connected back to that time, because that was another time that she felt she was handed a contract that she wouldn't sign. And when I was listening to this, she was saying how they were just in detail of just describing all these things, and I knew it was a demonic energy, right? But it feels different. Different energies on the other side, or on other planes and everything, and they feel different. And so I could feel it, and I could recognize it. And then I ended up with this book here. There's a gnat in here. The Extraterrestrial Species Almanac, which I've shared, right? And I just randomly opened it, and it was, I remember the page, it's 163, page 163. And it described exactly, in my opinion, like the how she was describing them. And so I did want to share this with you for multiple reasons. Because first of all, this I am starting to understand, is unfolding a little bit more for me, in essence of, now I have a name for the energy that I feel, because each kind of being carries a different frequency. And so now I have a name for that frequency that I feel. I can identify them, and then now I have a name for it. And they come from the Orion constellation. They're Orans. And what they basically do is they interbreed with human DNAs, with human beings, right? So they abduct them, they conduct experiments against their will, and they try and make them feel special. And then they do have the possible opportunity to ascend in some ways, because as they interbreed with the human DNA, then that's also that enlightened race, and so thus they can kind of accidentally become that, right? And I do feel that there's a lot of energies such as that. So alien races that are connecting more intensely. It's intensifying. And you know, I talked about this in my live very briefly about aliens, and that was very interesting, you guys. I really do appreciate you guys talking to me about what you guys feel with regards to that. But anyway, you know, you hear about these alien encounters. Okay, so my phone accidentally shut off. So I zoned out. I was thinking about aliens. So that's it. Bye.